Okay, so this is Unit 2, Lesson 2, Warm-Up. Evaluate the following. Do not convert into a decimal or a mixed number. Believe it or not, it says use do not exist, or DNE, when appropriate. Okay, so moms, when you're asking to do your homework, sometimes the answer is DNE. So I will get to that in this unit or this lesson eventually. Okay, so some basics here from before. So this 1A is -2 minus a -2. So there's kind of a lot going on. That would be the same as saying -2 plus a -1 times a -2. There's a lot of different ways to say this, but I would still do this first. So I would do this first. So a -1 times a -2, remember a negative, it makes a double negative makes a positive. So if this is confusing looking at it this way, don't look at it that way. A double negative makes a positive, so -2 plus 2 equals 0. Okay? -2 plus a -2 makes a -4. -5 plus a -5 is a -10. That's the same thing as this up here. Okay? Positive 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 minus 4 is -2. This is a -1. Use your calculator if you need to. Okay. All right. Reduce these fractions. Let's see. They both end in 5. The divisibility rule says divide by 5 if they end in a 5. So this is a 3 over -9. Don't lose the negative sign. And then both of them are divisible by 3. So I could have divided by 15 to start with, or I could have divided by 3 to start with, but then make sure you get here when you're done. Okay? A negative over a negative. Actually, you know what? -21 is divisible. -21 is divisible by -3, and you get 7 if you put it in your calculator. The other way to think about it is this is divisible by 3, this is divisible by 3, and you're going to get a -7 over a -1, which is also a 7. Okay, so make sure your final answer is a 7. Let's see, these are even. You can start with a 2. That gets me what? -32. This gets me a 9, and I'm done. 2 goes into 32, but not a 3. And a 2 doesn't go into a 9, and a 3 doesn't go into 32. Remember the divisibility rules for 32. That would be 3 plus 2 equals 5. 5 is not divisible by 3, so 32 is not divisible by 3. So you're done right there. Okay? So this is the same as putting the negative up top, which is the same as putting the negative underneath. Any way you look at it, this is a negative fraction, which ends up being a -1. Okay? Negative over a negative, let's see, let's divide this one by 9. If you recognize that the 9 goes into 9 and 18, so that would give you a -1 over a -2, which in turn would give you 1 over 2. So you can tell that signs are going to be a thing. Fractions are going to be a thing. We need to make sure we understand these. All right, then 18 over 0 is not 0. 18 over 0 is not 0. We don't have 18 of nothing. So one word we can use is undefined. The word that Mom uses is DNE. Does not exist. Okay? It's not a 0. You can't have 18 nothings. All right, over here, we want to make sure we're adding and subtracting across the top. So this would be what? -4. This would be a -4 plus a -5, which is a -9. A double negative fraction is a positive fraction. Okay? -4 over 1 is the same as a -4 whole number. Let's see. Double negatives make positives. Double negatives make positives. -6 plus 4 is -2. -1 plus 1 is 0, so this is another does not exist or undefined. I don't care which one you put in the homework, put does not exist, or the quizzes. Let's see, -2 plus a negative is another negative. Did I do that right? Yeah. +2 minus 6. -6 is bigger, going to have leftover negatives. 8 minus 0 is still 8. Reduced by 4, that's a -1/2. 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 plus 7 is 7. This is 0. Okay? I don't want you to think you can't have a 0. It's just a different thing. All right, here's some word problems. The taxi charges $5 for any ride plus 1.65 per mile. Right there, that tells you this is a rate problem. The formula for a rate problem, one of them, you don't have to do it exactly like me, is the end is going to equal plus or minus a rate times the number of something plus the start is the shorthand version of that. So if the rate is a positive 1.65, it goes there. Let's see, that is per mile. Does it say anywhere where, right here, 16 miles. So that has to go there. How much will you be charged? Write an equation using a C to represent the total. So the total, or the end, is the C. So that means this right here, this is very logical. $5 to get into the taxi and go anywhere. Then you're going to add 1.65 per mile, and we have 16 miles. So if you put that in your calculator, you're going to get 26.4 plus 5. So C, or the total cost, is $31.40. Because it's dollars, I would round to the cent. It didn't really say, but I feel comfortable doing that. The other one says drug prices have been raising for years. One drug price increases steadily by this per year. Another rate problem. So in fact, that's the rate. It increases per year. It says if the price was that in that year, what would it be 5 years later in that year? So some of the problems are going to have you do the math to figure out how many years that is. Okay? But either way, it's price per year. So it's rate times year, right? And then it says use the C for the price and solve. So this right here is the other number you have. Starts are always plus, by the way, right here. See that plus? It's the rate that can go up or down. Something is starting at one place, and then it's going up and down from there. So start is a positive number. 98.30. So order of operations do that. That is no, doesn't have a 9. It is 78.75 plus 98.30. I don't care in the order. If you feel comfortable putting the C on the other side and all this on the other side, that's fine. That doesn't matter. So C ends up C ends up dollars. Okay, that's the cost of of the prescription drugs that's been rising for years. It rises. The cost of this drug rises almost $16 a year. So 5 years later, 5 rises of $15 added to the starting cost will tell you how much it will cost in 2022. Okay?